Still, he's breaking no laws by doing it. I wonder what was in that bundle, Penny mused aloud. Food, perhaps? And to whom would he be taking it? Without answering her own question, the girl jerked open the car door and tugged at Louise's hand. "Come along," she commanded. "There's not a minute to lose." "Penny Parker, have you lost your mind?" Louise demanded indignantly. "What do you mean to do? Follow that Chinese man?" "I'm staying right here," declared Louise, holding back the "I never heard of such a crazy thing." "Just because Sing Lee has a package and a thermos bottle." Without taking time to reply, Penny started across the road towards the woods. Louise hesitated briefly, then, unwilling to be left behind, snatched a flashlight from the pocket of the car and hastily followed. "Wait, Penny," she called softly. "I'm coming. Hurry or we'll lose Sing Lee." In the dense woods it was very dark, but far ahead Penny could see the beam of a flashlight focused on the ground as the man who carried it walked swiftly along. "Penny, I don't know what's in your mind," Louise gasped, trying to keep up with her chum, "but whatever it is, it's a crazy idea." "It is crazy to try to find Jerry," Penny refuted. "Sing Lee may lead us straight to him." "You believe Sing Lee took Jerry as a prisoner? Why, that's fantastic. That food is meant for someone. If Sing Lee weren't up to something, why would he come here at night?" They were drawing closer to the Chinese man, so Louise did not reply. Yet to herself she admitted that Penny's idea might not be as ridiculous as it had seemed at first. In thinking back, she recalled Sing Lee had been rather an odd character, and it would not be too difficult to imagine that on the night of the party at the old mansion, the face that she had seen in the mirror might have been that of the Chinese man. Unaware that he was being trailed, Sing Lee moved deeper into the forest. Once he paused to listen, glancing backwards over his shoulders. The girls flattened themselves against a tree trunk and waited. There was no occasion for fear because the bark and the blackness gave them protection. "Sing Lee seems to be headed towards the river," Penny observed as the man walked on again. She had not been mistaken in her bearings. Within a few minutes, the Chinese man reached the small tributary of the Cobalt River. He walked along the banks for some distance, coming to a cove which was heavily screened by overhanging bushes and a willow tree. Not until they had crept up very close did the girls distinguish the outline of a houseboat. They were both startled to come upon it so unexpectedly. Sing Lee whistled twice, and a shadowy figure appeared in the doorway of the shanty boat. A lantern light was beaming, and by its glow Penny and Louise saw that the man on the boat likewise was a Chinese man. A few words exchanged by the pair in their native tongue. Then Sing Lee went aboard the boat carrying a bundle and the thermos jug. "Well, what do you think of that?" Louise murmured under her breath. Risking detection, they crept closer. The houseboat scraped the high bank as it floated, and they were able to peer into one of the windows. In the room, which was lighted, 3 Chinese men sat at the table eating food brought by Sing Lee. The scene was not what Penny had expected to see. She had confidently believed that the laundryman had intended the content of the bundle and of the thermos for the prisoners. "For looks as if Sing Lee is just giving a few of his friends a treat," whispered Louise. "The joke is on you." She started to move away, but Penny detained her by holding her hand fast. "Look at the walls of that room, Lou." "What about them?" "They are prepared with sheets from mail-order catalogs." "That's so. And notice the porch? Petunias growing in the flower box," Louise observed. They are not being watered in days, perhaps not since Mudcat Joe's River Queen disappeared. You think this is the missing boat? It certainly looks like it. But all houseboats are similar, Louise said. This one has been freshly painted. Joe didn't mention anything like that. Can't you guess why? Whispered Penny with increasing excitement. The boat was painted to disguise its appearance. The girls quietly retreated from the banks of the stream. When they were safe distance away, they paused to consider their course. I might be mistaken, Penny admitted, but this boat fits Mudcat Joe's description of the River Queen. We ought to notify him at once. He received so many false clues already, Louise protested. 2. In spite of their frantic haste, it required more than a half an hour to reach the Gates cottage. Mudcat Joe had just finished his supper when the car drove into the yard. He went outside to meet the girls and became highly excited when Penny told him of her belief that the River Queen lay in a cove on the Stark River. I'll get down there and have a look at her, he declared. Perhaps we ought to go with you, Penny said, thinking that the riverman might encounter trouble in the event the Chinese men had stolen his shanty boat. She suggested that he ride in their car, but this he did not wish to do, for unless the girls brought him back, he would have no way to return home. I can get down there almost as quick in the rowboat, he insisted, currents running swift. Despite their wish to return without delay to Riverview, the girls decided it was their duty to accompany Mudcat. The man quickly launched the rowboat and steered for the middle of the river. He bent to the oars, his powerful muscles sending the craft downstream in little spurts of speed. Penny turned to glance towards Old Mansion, where a few lights glowed. The house had a deceptive appearance of peace and tranquility. The night was cold and penetrating. A breeze which rippled the water served also to chill Penny and Louise long before the boat came to the mouth of the Snark River. They had neglected to bring wraps. Coming the length to the tributary, Mudcat Joe steered the boat into a narrow stream. Penny and Louise began to peer ahead anxiously, for they knew they must be drawing close to the cove where they had seen the houseboat. They swung around a bend. Penny leaned forward, trying to pierce the darkness. This was the place, she whispered. But there was no houseboat here, exclaimed Louise. Why, what became of it? Fearing they might have been mistaken in the locality, the girls had Mudcat row further up the stream. It soon became evident that the boat had vanished. Deeply chagrined, Louise and Penny were grateful that the riverman did not chide them. This ain't the first time I've been on a wild goose chase looking for the houseboat, he said with forced cheerfulness. But it was here an hour ago, Penny insisted. A gloomy silence took possession of the three as Mudcat Joe headed the boat towards the Cobalt River once more. It would be hard row back to the cottage where the girls had left their car. They reflected it might be midnight before they arrived home. As for Joe, he was tired and worn from his long day on the river, and their failure to find his beloved houseboat could not help but depress him. The boat presently reached the mouth of the tributary. Mudcat steered out into the main stream, setting his course at an angle across the Cobalt. Penny and Louise huddled together to protect themselves from the wind. They had fallen into sort of a lethargic state of morbid drowsiness when they became aware of a sudden break in the smooth rhythm of Mudcat's rowing. The man stowed his oars, peering across the dark, swirling waters. Just for a minute I thought I'd seen something in the water, he observed. Reckon it must have been a big fish. Penny and Louise stirred themselves, stretching their cramped limbs. With interest they glanced across the rippling waters. As the riverman rested for a moment from his labors, The current caught the boat and swung it sideways. Suddenly Penny leaned forward and gave a little cry. "There is something struggling in the water. It's surely too large to be a—" She broke off, ending with a gasp of horror. "Joe, it's a man!" "Do-do, do-do,